825, Forest Road, ending explained. Hey there, horror lovers. If you've just crawled out from under your blanket after watching 825, Forest Road, chances are you're still trying to wrap your head around that twisted, emotional, and super creepy ending. Don't worry, we've got you. In this video, we're diving deep into everything that went down in Ashland Falls, from the tragic past of Helen Foster, to Maria's shocking possession, to the jaw-dropping final twist that ties everything back to the Wilson family. Spoiler alert, obviously. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you might want to hit pause and come back later. Alright, let's get into it. Let's unpack the plot. So, 825, Forest Road kicks off with Chuck Wilson, his wife Maria, and his younger sister Isabel moving into a creepy old house in the town of Ashland Falls. They're trying to start fresh after losing their mom in a tragic car accident. Isabel was actually driving during the crash, and she's been battling depression and survivor's guilt ever since. Chuck thinks that maybe moving in together can help everyone heal. Spoiler, it doesn't. From the moment they arrive, weird stuff starts happening. Chuck sees a shotgun appear in photos. Maria finds a mannequin from her old clothing store randomly placed outside. Isabel is acting more withdrawn and starts seeing and hearing things in the house. But the real kicker? Nobody's pranking anyone. These things are happening on their own. And if you've seen even one haunted house movie, you know what that means. The haunting gets way more intense when Chuck starts digging into the history of Ashland Falls. That's when we meet Larry, their neighbor, who drops a major hint. The ghost of a woman named Helen Foster still haunts the area. Chuck, being the classic horror protagonist who must know the truth, starts researching Helen and finds some seriously disturbing stuff. Helen Foster lived in the 1940s, and her daughter Mary was relentlessly bullied at school. Mary suffered from depression and mental illness, and after being pushed too far, she took her own life. That tragedy shattered Helen. And instead of moving on, she snapped. Helen went on a violent rampage, murdering Mary's bully, the bully's entire family, and then herself, with a shotgun. Yep, the same shotgun Chuck keeps seeing. After that, the town literally changed its layout. 825, Forest Road was wiped from the official town map, and everyone pretended it never existed. But Helen's ghost never left. And now that the Wilsons have moved into her old home, knowingly or not, they're in serious danger. Now here's where things start getting layered. Helen's ghost doesn't haunt just anyone. She seems drawn specifically to people who are already suffering mentally, like Isabel, who's battling depression, and Maria, who has bipolar disorder. At first it seems cruel, but if you look closer, it's almost like Helen sees them. She relates to their pain. Remember, Helen couldn't save her daughter Mary. And now, in some twisted way, she's trying to collect others who are like her daughter, like she's preserving their pain, or making sure they're not alone. It's not empathy, it's obsession. It's also hinted that Helen hates the people who ignored Mary's suffering, the people who let her down. Her vengeance isn't random, it's specific. Emotional vulnerability is a trigger for her, and it makes Maria and Isabel the perfect targets. Meanwhile, Chuck keeps digging, and that leads him to this underground group called the Friends of Gardening. Sounds harmless, right? Plot twist. They're basically a secret society trying to take Helen down. They believe the key to ending the hauntings is burning down Helen's original house. But since the town map was altered, they can't find it. They've been trying for years, but every attempt to stop Helen just ends in more death. And now enters Ashley, a teenage girl from the town who's way too smart for her own good. She manages to decode the town's grid system and actually finds the real location of Helen's house. That should have been a win. But no, Helen finds out and kills Ashley before she can help. Just like that. The message is clear. If you dig too deep, you die. Things really hit the fan when Maria becomes possessed by Helen. This is where the movie goes from spooky to full-blown terrifying. Maria, who's already been struggling to manage her bipolar disorder, starts acting really off. Eventually, she transforms, literally and metaphorically, into Helen's vessel. Her voice changes. Her eyes go blank. She starts killing people, including the poor realtor, a cameraman, and even Luke, who shows up to help Isabel. Nobody's safe. At this point, Chuck and Isabel are still trying to figure everything out. They end up in what they believe is Helen's original house, and they find a box of old letters. These are huge. The letters are from Helen to the Clark family, begging them to do something about Mary's bullies. But no one ever responded. These letters show that Helen tried to get help. She wasn't just a madwoman, she was a desperate mother, completely ignored by her community. Ending explained. Then comes the real twist. As Chuck reads more, he realizes something that completely flips everything upside down. The Wilsons, yes, his own family, used to live at the same address as Helen. 15 Rose Lane, the house Chuck and Maria lived in before moving to 825 Forest Road, is actually the same house Helen once lived in. The town changed the name, changed the street, and buried the truth. Helen's ghost wasn't just drawn to the Wilsons by coincidence. She was tied to them all along. This means the haunting wasn't just about mental health or trauma, it was about legacy. The Wilsons, without knowing it, were living in the heart of Helen's tragedy. Their connection goes deeper than just the house. It's spiritual. It's generational. The film ends in pure chaos. Isabel is taken by what appears to be the ghost of Mary. It's unclear whether Mary is there to save her or to drag her into the same eternal suffering. Maria, now fully possessed by Helen, disappears. Chuck is left completely alone, devastated and helpless. And just like that, it ends. No closure. No easy answers. Just pain, mystery, and a whole lot of darkness. So what does it all mean? First, 825 Forest Road isn't just your average ghost story. It's a deep, emotional dive into how trauma, mental illness, and generational pain can haunt people, literally and metaphorically. Helen's ghost isn't just a vengeful spirit. She's a symbol of what happens when suffering is ignored. When no one listens. When people cry out for help and are silenced. The film also makes a strong statement about how communities bury their mistakes. Ashland Falls tried to erase Helen, erase Mary, erase the house. But the past doesn't disappear just because you hide it. It festers. It haunts. It comes back with a vengeance.
Keep an eye out on Isabel is all I'm saying.
Let's talk about sequel. The ending of 825 Forest Road is super open-ended. Isabel is taken. Maria is possessed. Chuck is still alive, which means there's definitely room for a follow-up. Could we get a prequel about Helen's life? Or a sequel where Chuck tries to break the curse for good? Maybe we learn more about the Clark family, who might actually hold the key to everything. One theory floating around is that they were the real root of the curse, not Helen. That would be a wild twist. Either way, there's so much left to explore. Ashland Falls still has secrets. And Helen Foster's story might not be over yet. So what do you think? Did the ending leave you shook? Do you think Helen is evil, misunderstood, or something in between? And do you think there's more to the Wilsons' connection to all of this? Drop your theories in the comments. We want to hear it all. And if you liked this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more horror deep dives, and maybe light a candle or two, just in case Helen's watching. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next nightmare.